Opening segment. Breaking the lie about aging. Let's start with the lie. You've heard it whispered, maybe even said out loud. Your best years are behind you. They don't need to say it directly, you feel it. When younger guys at work stop asking for your opinion. When your doctor talks more about managing decline than building strength. When women walk by without a glance. Like you've become invisible. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. You're not done. You're just now dangerous, and that changes everything. This isn't just another motivational speech. It's a call to arms, not to fight the world, but to claim your final form. By 50, you've earned something youth can't buy. Experience sharpened by failure. Scars that taught you survival. Clarity that time has made brutal and honest. And most importantly, zero time left to waste. That makes you a threat to mediocrity, to noise, to the world's obsession with staying young forever. Stoicism teaches this hard truth. The older you get, the more unshakable you must become. Because while the world chases youth, what it truly needs is depth. And that only comes with age, silence, and scars. So the next time someone implies your prime is over, smile, because you now have what they don't: fire without noise, strength without flash, clarity without doubt. Section 1. The power of stillness. Opening, the contrast between generations. Let's face it, youth chases noise. Fast cars, fast likes, fast love. Young men sprint toward money, attention, validation. They call it ambition, but often, it's just chaos wearing a designer suit. Now compare that to a man who's lived through it all. He doesn't chase, he calculates. Because with time comes one of the rarest strengths in modern life: stillness. Body, redefining stillness as controlled power. Stillness is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's restraint, sharpened by wisdom and forged in hardship. Stillness is selective effort. You learn that 90% of what people chase is empty. The remaining 10%? You can't buy it, not with youth, not with speed. Stillness protects your energy. You stop wasting time trying to fix others or impress strangers. You act when it counts, and remain silent when it matters more. Visual analogy: the old lion. Picture a lion in the wild. The young ones run, roar, fight for everything. The old one? He watches. He waits. Because he knows. The moment to strike doesn't come often, but when it does, you only need one clean move. Closing, the magnetic force of silence. Stillness isn't invisibility. It's gravity. Women sense it. Younger men respect it, or fear it. Because in a world full of noise, a man who doesn't flinch becomes a mountain. Not loud, not reactive, just unshakable. That's not less power. That's real power. Section 2. Unapologetic masculinity. The power of standing tall. Opening, a fork in the road. At some point in every man's life, especially as he ages, he's faced with a silent choice. Shrink to fit a softening world that no longer understands masculine strength. Or stand like a mountain, firm and immovable, while the world learns to walk around him. This isn't a metaphor. It's a reality every man over 50 feels in his bones. Body, the false shame around masculinity. Our culture has twisted the narrative. Today, a man who is direct, principled, and firm in his presence is labeled intimidating, even toxic. You're told to soften your voice, lower your standards, Fold in your shoulders, just to make others more comfortable. But here's the truth. You don't owe softness to a world that's never walked a mile in your boots. You don't need to apologize for being masculine. You don't need to bend to emotional trends you never agreed to. Being unapologetically masculine doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being grounded in your truth, your presence, your legacy. Conclusion: how to reclaim space without saying a word. You don't need to shout. You don't need to argue. All you need is to exist without folding. Start taking up space again. Sit with intention. Speak slowly and clearly. Hold your gaze until the other person looks away. That's not arrogance, that's alignment with who you really are. And in a world full of noise, that kind of silent confidence? It's not just rare, it's priceless. Section 3. Reclaiming discipline. Why your prime begins when you decide. Intro. Challenging the myth of a man's peak. You've heard the myth. Men peak in their 30s. But let's be honest, that version of a peak is shallow. It's built on abs, income, and ego. The truth? A man doesn't reach his prime when the world tells him. He peaks when he masters himself. And for many men, that moment comes not at 30, but at 50, 60, or even later. Because real strength? It's not in your hormones, it's in your habits. Body. Redefining discipline as dignity. Discipline isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. and shouting into ice baths. It's about dignity, the quiet, relentless decision to honor your time, body, and mind. Body. Move every day. Not for a six-pack, but for longevity. Your strength is your currency. Mind. Stop outsourcing your thoughts to the news cycle or cheap dopamine. You don't need another scroll. You need silence to think clearly. Try this. Begin each day with stillness, journal, walk, or breathe in cold water. Replace digital noise with intention. Start building your cathedral of thought, brick by brick. Conclusion: why discipline matters more with age. Here's the truth most men overlook. The older you get, the louder your actions echo. Every decision now isn't just about you. It becomes a blueprint for your family, your community, the men coming after you. So no, your best years aren't behind you. They're ahead, if you have the discipline to claim them. Section 4. The woman question. Attraction after 50. INTRO. A shift in the game. There's a moment, somewhere after 50, when the chase starts to lose its thrill. The pickup lines feel tired. The games? Predictable. You stop asking, how do I win her over? And start asking, is she even worth inviting into my peace? Because the truth is simple. When a man matures, he stops chasing, and that's when he becomes magnetic. Body. The quiet power of self-containment. Women sense it, even before you speak. It's not about your car, your bank account, or your hairline. It's about presence, poise, purpose. Self-contained men attract real women. Not the ones chasing status, but the ones drawn to depth, to strength that doesn't need applause. The real shift? You no longer need approval. You walk like you've already arrived. You speak from your chest, not your throat, because you're rooted in who you are. So stop dressing like you're 25. Start wearing your wisdom. Let the gray show, not because you've given up, but because you've grown up. Conclusion: you're not invisible. You're selective. You haven't disappeared. You've simply stopped trying to be seen by the wrong people. That's not invisibility. That's power, the kind that makes the right woman lean in and wonder, who is that man who doesn't need anyone's approval? Section 5. Legacy Mode. What will outlive you? Intro. When the final chapter begins to matter most. There comes a moment in a man's life when he realizes, this isn't the end. It's the beginning of what truly counts. Not in years left, but in meaning created. You're not in decline, you're in legacy mode. Because at some point, the question shifts from, what am I chasing? To, what will remain when I'm gone? Body. Defining real legacy. It's not what you own. Legacy isn't about titles, trophies, or dollar signs. It's written in the silent moments when no one's watching. It's defined by what you taught, not just by words, but by example. What you tolerated, the lines you refused to cross, and those you drew in stone. Who you protected, even when it cost you. Who you became, when no one was keeping score. Ask yourself this, when a young man is asked, who showed you how to be a man? Will your name come up? That's not ego. That's impact. Conclusion. Strength beyond the spotlight. Your calm now cuts deeper than chaos. Your presence, quiet, grounded, is heavier than any boast or performance. But only if you choose to reclaim it. You are not finished. You are not fading. You are becoming the man others will quote. Not because you shouted, but because you lived with weight. If this resonates in your bones, type, "I'm not done," in the comments. Let the next generation feel the ripple of your resolve. If this lit a fire in you, like, share, and follow so we can ignite a generation.